move on to Rotus Odiri.
Yes,
Global Business Update. Rotus, how's it going?
Yeah, lots of tech, lots of innovation to discuss today. Good morning, Rufai. Good morning, Ayo. Good morning, Mr. K. Good morning to all of you. President Biden, look at these tweets, a couple tweets from President Biden. As part of my unity agenda, I've worked with Congress, the legislature, to fund the Advanced Research Projects Agency for Health to change how we confront cancers and diseases. Today, ARPAH launched its first program to fund innovative cancer treatments, a milestone in our fight again. This was back in July 27th. He now updated it just yesterday, putting out another tweet saying, today we're taking another important step forward in ending cancer as we know it. A new ARPAH project using mRNA technology. Where have you heard mRNA? When we're fighting COVID and all that, right? To train our immune systems to fight cancer, autoimmune disorders, and infectious diseases. This is a bold endeavor with the potential to transform the fight against cancer and other difficult diagnoses. That's one. Two, let's move on to, Nvidia. Nvidia, this is a chip maker, US chip maker. Their results absolutely blew forecasts out of the water for second quarter. Their chips are very vital for artificial intelligence. Wall Street is going gaga over Nvidia's chip making abilities. Revenue there, 13.5 billion, 100% growth year on year. The estimates from the Wall Street was 11 billion. Adjusted EPS, that's your earnings per share, $2.70, a 427% climb year on year. Estimates from Wall Street was $2.07. Their data center revenues, 10.3 billion. Cloud computing and all that, they compete with Azure and everybody else. 10.3 billion, 141% quarter-on-quarter growth. The estimate from Wall Street was 8 billion. Gaming revenue, so they have revenue streams that are diversified. 2.5 billion, 11% quarter-on-quarter growth. Estimate 2.4. I'm on a theme here. This is again technology. This is where Wall Street is going. Tech stocks are up. I think it even lifted Asian stocks to some extent. That's where the market is looking at. As I've said, tech, right? Third, this one is the real big one that got me excited. India, their Chandrayaan-3 mission to the moon. They landed it just the day before yesterday. Narendra Modi was celebrating it while he was at BRICS in Johannesburg. So they've landed it. India is the fourth nation, only the fourth, after the United States, China, and Russia to land on the moon. So now they've released a rover, a Pragyan rover on the moon's surface. It's going to be testing for thermal, chemical, mineral properties. Essentially, they're looking for evidence of water on the south pole of the moon. This again, this is the same India that Apple just opened up 2 new stores this year. This is the same India that Goldman Sachs says is going to be responsible up to 15% of Apple's revenue. India is moving forward. They are innovating. There was a video where they were talking about their education sector, how their young people are aspiring to want to be the next engineers that get a spacecraft to the moon, how this is going to create jobs for them. This is, I think, their third mission or so to the moon. Again, only 4 nations have done this. And you have to think of this within the context of innovation. I talked about Oppenheimer not too long ago and what that meant for the education sector. The United States, China, Russia, and now India. We move on from that to asking ourselves
I was going to ask you that. Are they the first to be on the South Pole?
Yeah. So they've
first to be on the South Pole.
On the southern pole, yes. Of the moon, right, correct. So in order to investigate.
Russia was was it Russia or China?
Yeah.
I think it was Russia that tried to get to the South Pole first.
Right.
But their project failed.
It crashed. Yeah, it crashed.
Yeah,
but look, you can crash as long as you're trying, and the fact that you have the technology to try to get there. India has done it. So look, further to the point, where is Nigeria's innovation? This is the when we think about this is the big question, right? When we think about our education sector, when we think about, you guys had a very great interview yesterday with the Minister for Humanitarian Affairs. She answered some tough questions. I mentioned this with Oppenheimer. If you look at where are we today in the country? I'll get to Nigeria stories, and it's the same old stuff. It's subsidy, palliative, and the exchange rates, right? That's just what we're talking about here. Our mates are moving forward. Where is our innovation? Where is the money to push our innovation forward? All right, well, we keep going. Argentina has gotten a credit alerts from the IMF. Essentially, $7.5 billion that was apparently disbursed either yesterday or today. It is part of a $44 billion program. They review the program at different stages. Argentina has certain targets to meet. They didn't meet any of the economic targets that were set for this particular one. The IMF said, you know what, we'll still try and give you some money because we know you're struggling. Total disbursements are $36 billion. Now look at this. Remember they devalued after Mr. Javier won that primary election. They devalued by 18% to 350 to the dollar. The parallel market rate in Argentina is 725. That is the difference between the official rates and the parallel market rates in Argentina is wider than when Nigeria was fixing its own peg. So the Argentina is showing the same amount of stubbornness that Nigeria has shown with respect to currency management. The IMF has asked them for a 100% devaluation, but still they've been giving them their funds. They're going to get new economic targets. They're going to be due tomorrow. So again, as Nigeria is looking for money, we might have to just swallow our pride and go and seek a facility with the IMF. What else is going on? Yes, the U.S. Republican debates. Trump skipped them, but I don't like talking politics. My own is to focus on the economy. Topic number one at this debate, and that's the former Vice President Pence, that's Ron DeSantis, and the businessman Sharma, I forget his last name, but that's the three folks that are focused on this Wall Street Journal poll. Look at this, kicking off the GOP debates, the contenders focused on U.S. debt levels. So just as Congress is enmeshed in a fight over funding the government, overall, U.S. debt currently stands at $32.8 trillion, according to Treasury Department data. I've been singing this debt matter over and over again. That was the very first topic that they addressed. Now, of course, the United States, they can print dollars if they want, so they are free to do that. They are the reserve currency of the world. But I brought that up to still emphasize, again, with Nigeria's debt at 73 trillion, any minister can come on here and tell you what plans they have. If you do not address the debts, even me talking about innovation, funding, university programs, if you don't have the money and your debt is hanging around your neck, you are going to be stuck. I think finally the central bank, Dr. Hassan Mahmoud, CBN Director of Monetary Policy, he gave an interview yesterday. Very interesting things that he talked about. He said, we also read the JP Morgan numbers in-house, and we didn't panic over that. That's not the first time we're seeing people, institutions reeling out numbers. They must have their intentions to do that, whether to rouse market sentiment, whether to mislead the public. He continues. He now talks about it was a long interview. I couldn't paraphrase everything. But this is the part I wanted to focus on. This is when the federal government or the oil export receipts come to Nigeria, it comes through the central bank. The CBN monetizes that to Naira. Remember I talked about this and I said, let the FX market breathe. And I gave solutions as to what to do. And I said, they need to move away from this because you are creating more money supply, which is going to drive up inflation. CBN monetizes that to Naira, and the federal government spends the Naira in the implementation of its budget. He then continues and says, and this is at one point he talks about defense of the currency. If we continue with his quotes, he then says that dollar component sits with the central bank. And the purpose of the dollar component, one, is to build the confidence of the international community in the capability of central bank to meet its trade commitments. And then two, he also said that, and this is key here, that essentially, I think we have one more quote from him, where he says essentially with the, here we go. Two, we have a managed float regime. In the event that the value of your currency is significantly depreciating, the central bank has the firepower to intervene.
Rotus, I had a lot to say, but they said there's no time.
It's a hot show. We're the hottest show in Africa. There's so many guests. There's never any time. I get it.
Maybe I'll save it for tomorrow.
I
had a lot to say. I wanted to talk about a particular country that is a model as regards innovation, and a drug called Ozempic that is making Denmark be affluent with so much dollar that we're looking for now, that the market cap of the company is more than the GDP of a country. We're going to tell that story
make sure you
tomorrow.
bring that. It was the news. Innovation, very important. Thank you very much.